All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Monday. It is the 7th of December. As you all recall, this is a very historic day for our country. On December 7th, 1941, the United States was attacked on its own soil, or actually water, in Hawaii at Pearl Harbor, and it was our entrance into World War II. Your I Can statement today is I can create a presentation that demonstrates my understanding of my book. So, we're going to be talking about projects this week. You're going to have a book project to do, and I will get into that in just a moment. We're going to talk about missing work. There's still a lot of that. The iReady MOY, which many of you still have not even bothered to begin. And of course, the lesson is available to watch. You know that because you're watching it right now. On the bookshelf, we have the learning farm activity is still there because many of you also still need to do that. I don't know. I don't know what your thinking is on learning farm. If you feel like it's an optional activity, it is not. If something is optional, I'll be sure and let you know. But I am definitely letting you know that that is not an optional activity, and you will receive a 0 if you opt not to do it. Your evidence of learning today is a continuation of what we discussed last week, and I will get into that with you as well. So let's start with the evidence of learning activity. If you'll recall last week, we looked at parts of the how to turn an ordinary everyday hoop court into a place of higher learning and you at the podium. Um, we looked at examples of things that Dante did or observations about Dante that made us think one way about him, and then Matt de la Pena made us change our mind a little bit about him. So he built him up to be one way, and then all of a sudden he just pulled the rug out from under us and made us go, oh, maybe I was wrong about him. So that's something I asked you to think about with your books. And today, your job is to actually do that. And we're going to have you create your own piece of work tracing how those time shifts in your novel develop your relationship with the character. So you might create a table like you saw with the Matt de la Pena story. You can do any kind of a diagram that you want that shows how things change, what situations, what dialogue, what observations change in your book throughout your book. You should have at least 4 different things going on. You should have, just like you saw in the other one, we had 4 entries to show the growth of the character, the change of the character, that modulation. So you can do it in any kind of a document that you want, but if it were me, I would just maybe add it to what you see here. This is an example. Um, Also, Matt de la Pena's story. So I want you to read over this example, and this is what I want you to do. Notice he's got point 1, point 2, point 3, and then we got point 4 all the way down here at the bottom, and all, pretty good description of everything. If you are even giving me just 1 or 2 words or even a sentence, you're not doing your job. By this point, you should know I want details, specific details from your book. And don't just give me the detail, give me why. Why are you saying this is important? Why did you choose this particular piece of information? Why? Explain yourself. I don't know is not an answer. I don't know is an out. So you can do it in a timeline format. You can do it in a table. You can do it in a Prezi if you want. I don't care how you do it, but submit it here and make sure that it's complete. So this will be your evidence of learning. This will be due Friday, the 11th of December. If you have questions about it, go back to last week's lesson and look at the Matt de la Pena again. And then we're going to talk now about the book projects. Book projects. We haven't really done one yet. We did some book choice things earlier in the year, but now we're really going to get into the meat and potatoes of things. So, the book projects, if you click on this link, is going to take you to the assignment. It says, follow the link to the instructions for your book projects. Submit your work in Canvas. If you work as a group, be sure to include all member names in your project. And remember to include your name, the book title, and the author. You guys are forgetting to do that. That's very lackadaisical of you. It shows me you really don't care about your work. So show me that you care. It's your grade, it's your future. So if I click on book project, it's going to take me to a document that will explain what you have to do. And as I said, you have options. Um, because I do believe that everyone's talent shines in a different light. I wanted you to have different opportunities how to express that talent and how to show me your light. So, this is due December 11th. You have all week to work on it. This is your final project for your book clubs. You may choose to do this independently or with your group. So, if you've been working with a group but you still want to do the project on your own, that's great. That's fine. But if you're working with other people and you want to work as a group on the project, that's great too. So you're going to look at these projects and you're going to choose one of them. And do not make this a 5-minute job, ladies and gentlemen. It will show. If I don't see serious effort in these, I'm going to grade these really hard. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm looking for neatness. I'm looking for creativity. I'm looking for accuracy. I'm looking for detail. I'm looking for grammar, spelling, punctuation, cleanliness of your work. In other words, did you just throw it together and it looks sloppy? Does it look like you just, got up this morning and did it so you could turn it in because it's Friday? This is going to be a tough grade, so make sure that you work hard on it. Don't put it off to Thursday night. That's why I'm telling you about it now. I have the standard here for you. It says cite textual evidence to support analysis of what the text says explicitly. Cite textual evidence. We've been asking you to do that all year. That means tie everything you say to specific things in the book. Be specific, be specific, be specific. Use your entries from your notebook pages. That will help you. It'll jog your memory because you want to complete this task by asking yourself things like this. What is my character saying and what does this reveal about his or her personality? What is my character saying that moves the plot forward? What is my character saying that causes a decision to be made? And why is the character acting or feeling this way? So these are things you can consider. Now let's look at projects. There are 8. The first project, and this is one of my favorites, is to create a YouTube playlist. Do it in Google Slides, Google Presentation. And you're going to create a 10-song playlist of songs that support the events and the theme of your book. They don't have to be songs about your book. Like if you're reading Ghost, your songs don't have to be about track. They have to be sort of situational, about the way the characters feel, about the emotion of the book, maybe about situations in the book, relationships, things that if you were writing the soundtrack, if your book was being made into a movie, what songs would they play in the movie? So you need to go to YouTube and find those videos and you need to embed them into your slide presentations. If you don't know how to do that, my little darlings, it's pretty simple. Google it. It's a really easy thing to do. Trust me. But the other thing you have to do with each song, and I would put 1 song per slide because you need to give me a written explanation of why that song pertains to your book. What about that song pertains to your book? Project number 2 is a digital movie poster. And again, you're going to do that in Google Slides, Google Presentation. You're going to include images and elements that you might find on a movie poster. You've all seen movie posters. They kind of show you what the movie is about. You have to show me the theme. You have to give me a little bit of a summary. What is the conflict? What's the problem? Something about the different characters, how they might change. This is not as easy as it looks. This takes a lot of thought, a lot of work, and a lot of creativity. If you're an artistic person, you might enjoy this project. Project number 3, digital character cards. Again, not as easy as it sounds. You can do it in Google Presentation. And you're going to do a character card, kind of like a baseball card where it's got all the stats on the back of it, for at least 3 characters in your book. So clearly, if you were doing Hatchet, can you do this project? No, you really can't. You've got to have at least 3 characters. And you need to design that card so that you have an image of what you think the character would look like, their name, maybe something about them, where they're from, how old they are, whatever. What is their role in the book? A little summary of the story. What's the conflict again? How does this character change? Um, and again, the theme. Every one of these is going to include theme, ladies and gentlemen. You need to include summary, conflict, character change, and theme in every single one of these projects. That's why you see it so many places. Summary, conflict, character change, theme. Summary, conflict, character change, theme. Summary, conflict, character change, theme. Okay? Get my drift? Project number 4. If you don't like the artsy stuff, if you just like to write, then you can rewrite a 2 to 3 page alternate ending to your book. Explain why this would change the theme of the book. Because if you write a completely different ending, the theme's going to change. The message is going to change. And what could the characters do differently to change the outcome of the story? Remember, 2 to 3 pages. Project number 5. Do a video critique. It's kind of like a book talk or a movie review. You can sit at a desk and say, "Hi, I'm here to review this book, and it's about blah, 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 and the characters so and so and so and so are traveling across country to save their pet monkey from falling off of a bridge." And tell me sort of what happens in there. And what's the message? What's the theme? Why do they want to keep the monkey from falling off the bridge? But it needs to be at least 2 to 3 minutes long. 2 to 3 minutes long. You can have music in your intro. You can have a backdrop of different things that look like things from the book. I would get very creative with this. I would not just put yourself up against a blank wall and do it. I expect some work on this. Number 6, if you like to do the animation thing, Go Animate is a place where you can go and create sort of a storyboard. Like Storyboard that, but Go Animate's it's animated. That's why it's called Go Animate. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory when you get into the program how to use it. There is a free component of it. You do not need to buy a subscription to it. But make sure that when you finish, you copy that link and make sure that you have it someplace where you can share it with me and test it. Test the link before you close your Go Animate. Make sure that when you go to that link, it can be viewed. Don't just do your Go Animate, copy the link, and close it out. Because if you lose it, you're going to be really mad at yourself. Go Animate's a lot of fun to use, but you need to be careful with it. You need to make sure that you can save what you did. Or you can create a Powtoon. Powtoons are fun. I've shown you several Powtoons this year. They're a way that you can use some animation, some graphics, and couple that with written information to talk about the events and the theme of your book. And then number 8 is an art project of your choosing. So maybe none of these appeal to you, but you have some other idea that you wanted to do. You need to let me know. I need to make sure it's okay. And make sure that it includes, again, summary, conflict, character change, and theme. Every project must include plot, setting, characterization, conflict, and theme, and it must be submitted in Canvas. This is due no later than December 11th. It's going to take me some time to grade these projects, ladies and gentlemen. So if you turn them in later than that, I don't know if I'll get to it. This is a firm due date. I was going to make it the following Monday, but I'm making it Friday instead. You have all week to do it. All right, let's go back. Learning Farm, I talked about Learning Farm. You need to get those done. They are not optional. Missing work. Several of you have turned things in the last few days. I had you complete an assignment called Missing Assignments so that you could make a log of all the work that you haven't bothered to do. That was to open your eyes so that you know, when you look at that list, how bad or how well off you are. Several people have been able to turn in that form saying, I have no missing work. Awesome. That's incredible. I love it. But if you have a list, if you have 2 things on the list or you have 12 things on the list, you better get going on them, ladies and gentlemen. Time is running out. The semester ends December 18th. Period. End of sentence. Now, let's talk about the iReady MOY, middle of year. Please do it. Because as of today, Monday, the 7th of December, you have to be working on your math MOY. So if you haven't finished your reading MOY, congratulations. Now you have 2 of them to do. And remember, you can only do it during school hours. It cannot be done after, I believe, 4 o'clock. Might even be 3:30. And then it opens up again the next morning. Don't rush through it, because again, the better you do, the fewer lessons you get. One more thing that is not on this list that I'm going to tell you is probably a week from tomorrow, you're going to have a quiz on how to transform an ordinary, everyday hoop court into a place of higher learning and you at the podium. So if you have not listened to that entire story, you might want to go ahead and do that. I've taken it off of this screen. You're going to have to go back and find where I put it because it is in earlier sessions. And it says below the cat, listen to the story here or something like that. If you have not listened to that story yet, and I could tell by some of your work that you haven't, I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid, people. If you haven't listened to the story or you haven't read the story, it shows. So brace yourselves because there is a quiz coming up on it. You have this week to go ahead and listen to that story. Takes about 25 or 30 minutes to listen to. You can break it up if you want. But I would pay close attention. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have finished your iReady MOY, then you should be working on your learning path. And this Wednesday, more than likely, you will have a teacher assigned iReady lesson. Some of you have not done the earlier teacher assigned iReady lessons, which again, if you're opting to get zeros, I can't really do anything about that. All I can do is remind you to do your work, encourage you to do your work. But ultimately, it's your decision, isn't it? Do I want to turn the light switch on and see the light? Or do I want to leave that switch off and be in the dark? Do I want to get a good grade? Or do I not care? It's your choice. You are in 8th grade. When you go to high school next year, children, that choice is going to become more difficult for you because now you're going to have to go, well, I really don't want to bother to do this, but I really don't want to take this class a second time either. So I guess I better decide to just suck it up and do the work. You should decide that now. This is training for high school. Do the work. And for those of you who don't come to class, it's very clear that you don't come to class because there are things that we do in the live session that I don't record on here because they come up in discussion. So a lot of times, those of you who don't come to class, but you do submit the lessons, you're missing the mark just a little bit because you have not come for clarification. So you might want to think about attending class. It's not optional. You should be in school. You should be at your computer at your scheduled time, sitting up at a table, at a desk, someplace other than your bed, preferably not still in your feet jammies, focusing on being a student. You are in school right now. Just because you have opted for virtual school does not mean this is your vacay. You're in school, so please step it up. Do yourself a favor. Have the self-respect that you need to be successful. And that is all I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I will talk to you soon. T2 out.